Ladies and gentlemen, come gather round, come gather round, come gather round. Today, we're going to be changing spark plugs. We're also underneath my kid's car, so don't let that distract you. It's not going to fall on you, but if it does, I got Band-Aids. All right, let's go. First step in this totally not service-friendly vehicle, popping the hood. When I had this thing registered, I had to have secondary catches for the hood, which is dumb, because I have 4 catches for the hood. Does that mean I need 8 catches for the hood? Hey, you gotta move over here. Make sure you can see. Make sure you can see. I told you to gather around. All right, plugs are in here. So I got the old impact, pulling those off. You might remember this from when we changed the valve cover gaskets. Check out the video, I think it's over there. Not a hot engine, so I'm not going to melt this on the exhaust pipes. That comes off. Plugs. If you are going to get confused with which plug comes out of where, just do them one at a time. Don't take all of the cables off. Although technically in this case you're not going to get far confused. I have this crazy little socket thing I got from Princess Auto. It's a spark plug socket, and it could be really cool. It looks like I might need an extension though. I don't remember if these undo it, but they have a clutch in them so you can't over tighten them. I'll show you what I mean. Love these ratchets for this feature. It's not recommended to use an impact to take spark plugs out or put them in. Do those by hand, and for the love of mercy, thread them in by hand so that you don't cross thread it. If you cross thread it, you're going to be a sad camper. Those don't look happy. All right. So, taking the old plugs out, I got to pause and figure out what kind of spark plugs I'm supposed to have in here, because these look very different. All right. After a quick failed attempt at Google, I'm not entirely sure why my 2 spark plugs are different. Take a look at this. This is what I pulled out of it. This is what I used to run years ago. These are platinum. These are, I don't know, probably platinum. I don't know. I have run these. I was running these. I've got a drivability issue. I don't know if this projected tip is an issue. I'm going to put these back in and see. I'll probably clean the other ones. I'm curious why they're different. Google's failing me, so whatever. Since this is aluminum head and steel plugs, I like to put a little bit of Never Sees on the threads. You don't need much. Some folks are like, oh my gosh, don't use Never Sees, just put them in dry. Okay, I'm not going to. Let it go. Don't make me sing. So you don't need a lot on this. You don't want any of the Never Sneeze to get on the sparking area. Then, where's my ratchet? Oh, there it is. The inside of spark plug sockets have a little rubber thingy in there which holds this in place, which is especially handy when you're trying to get the spark plugs down somewhere. And then don't use the ratchet. Thread this in by hand. If you're not sure, you can put a rubber hose on the end of the spark plug, and don't even put a wrench on it until you're for sure it is absolutely threaded in, until you've stripped a few things. Now this will slip like a clutch. It will slip. Yeah, there it is. I was a little afraid. It slips like a clutch to not over tighten your spark plug. So let's do the others. Then we're going to take it for a drive and see if it's any different at all. Not holding my breath. Curious about these plugs. Why are they so different? I don't know. They say, and the commercials will try to convince you, that spark plugs are like the source of all of your power and performance. I'm not convinced. I don't think they really make a difference. And then some people swear, oh my gosh, you gotta run whatever brand you want. I tend to like NGK, which is what I'm taking out of here. But I'm wondering if these are a little bit soiled. I don't know. So, there we go. Boop. Come on, spark plugs. There you go. Betcha. Leave a comment below if one of these screws disappears while I'm doing this, and you see where it goes. I'm not going to see where it goes. I think that last spark plug is a little bit beyond my reach. Interesting looking plugs. Some of these are not totally happy. I don't know why that is. This engine probably needs a good rebuild soon. In modern vehicles, the only thing left for you to do to maintain a vehicle is like air filters and spark plugs. And even then, you don't have to do them very often, like run them. One of my cars, I didn't change the spark plugs for 13 years just to see what it would do. And finally started a misfire. So I changed the plugs and it went away. That was cool. Not the car, but the misfire. There's a weird collection of happiness on these spark plugs. Some of them are really not good. I wonder if I got a bad injector somewhere. Don't know. What it's doing, surging a little bit on the highway, which is often a lean condition, but the airflow meter doesn't say that it's lean. It seems to be happy with the fuel level. So then the next possibility is too much spark advance, but I've been running the same spark advance for like 10 years. Why is it a problem now? I don't know. Rambling. Probably going to edit all of this out. Cover goes back on. Oh, that's the wrong one. Probably do ya. Little dabble do ya. Your engine manufacturer will have a recommended torque setting for the spark plugs. If you don't have one of them fancy ratchet ones, you can use a torque wrench like this or like this. Either one would work fine. I don't like these. I have not yet found a 3/8 drive click type torque wrench that actually clicks at the right spot. It usually, when I test them, it'll click and click and click and it's totally consistent. But somehow when it's on a bolt, it doesn't click and it breaks the thing off. So I don't use this at all. I use the beam type because I haven't screwed up yet with these, and I always screw up with this one. So 3/8, I don't like these, but if you find a really good one, leave a comment below so I can go and buy it because I can't stand these. I like these. Just beam me up, Scotty. Okay, now we're in the auto shop at the school, and over by the staircase and the washing machine for doing coveralls, we've got the spark plug cleaner upinator. And we got instructions step by step over here. There's a lab in the far corner of the shop that you can go through, which you should be filling out if you're doing this. You can get lab credit for it. Got the nasty plug that we pulled out. Looking at that. Background. Focus. This one's not too bad. A little weird. I'm still curious about the projected tip. We're going to clean the plug right over here. But to do that, we're going to need some compressed air, which will plug into the bottom of this thing. In this, it's basically a sand blaster. Let's move a little closer, shall we? I know you can't all gather around like this. So this is old school technology. Truthfully, nobody does this. Nobody cleans spark plugs. It's a waste of time. In fact, it may make these worse because it kind of makes this a little pity sort of, not pity, but it may get dirty faster because we've blasted it. But if you ain't got no money, this is a way to make your nasty spark plugs out of your nasty engine run a little bit longer. You put it in the top, like that. You got eye protection because this is going to blast sand. We got a lever on the side, cryptically marked sand. You push this button at the bottom while you give this a wiggle and a turn. Then when you think you got it clean enough, push it over to air. Because you don't want no sand in your motor. And you pull out the spark plug. It should be all nice and clean. Oh yeah. Then we can put it back in the car if we had to. All right, Allied, before you put them in the engine, you should probably check the gap on these. Now, your manufacturer will have a specific kind of gap that you should have in here, assuming that you're not like me and put the wrong ignition system on a wrong motor run by the wrong computer with a completely different tuning. For the ignition system that I'm running, it wants to have a 0.044 gap. I like to use wire spark plug gauges for measuring the gap, and this thing should just fit in. This is actually a bit tighter than it should be. You can also use this guy. I don't like these for adjusting, but they're good for measuring. You just slide it in and move it over. Looks like it's at about 38 thousandths. Needs to be 44. Most of these gauges come with a little end like this. And this is what you use. You put it down here and just give it a little bit of a pull. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if you can see that. This kind of hooks on the end. Focus. And then I can pull and pry this out a teeny bit. It's not going to take much. And you do this until it just gently fits through without a whole lot of anything. Some folks will close it by tapping on a bench. I want to grab them by the ears and tap them on a bench. You don't want to risk breaking the porcelain or damaging the spark plug in any way. That's getting better. A little bit too far. So a little bit, just go the other way, give it a tweak, and make them a nice 044. Now I'm going to gap the rest of these. You leave a comment down below. Oh, and subscribe, because apparently I need to tell you what. Okay, turns out I ran the numbers, and these spark plugs that I've been running in my Toyota Corolla motor are actually for a Nissan hardbody pickup. So I did used to own one of those. I wonder if these are left over. I put them in a Ziploc that said 4AGE. Clearly, I've been drinking, I guess.